Now it should do better. Let's see. So the roads are built every time. We are converting it into cities. Hey guys, my name is Cesar. I am a Machinations diagram architect. And today we're going to be doing something a bit different. Instead of simulating a video game, we're going to be simulating a board game, a real-life board game. I have chosen a well-known board game called Settlers of Catan. I hope you guys know it. If you don't, I'm going to do a quick walkthrough of the rules and explain them as I build the diagram anyway. And as in the last video, similar to the last videos, I'll explain if I choose to leave something out, why I choose to leave something out, why I choose to simulate something differently, and so on. So the purpose of the diagram will be how fast can a player reach 10 victory points. It will be built for one player only, so no PvP type diagram. And I'll give you some tools in order for you to adjust and balance your economy in order to achieve the desired result. Let's say you want a player to reach those 10 points in 50 turns, let's say. You can do that by adjusting some of your values, or maybe find the best tactic when playing the game. So I'm gonna explain the rules real quick here. So Catan is a game where you throw it's dice based. You throw 2 dice, and according to the number shown by the dice, players receive resources. How do they receive these resources? Using their buildings. Resources are used to build buildings, either settlements or cities or roads, and settlements or cities give resources based on their location. If they are located near a tile that has the same number as shown on the 2 dice, they will receive resources according to it. This is the very short rule version. For a more detailed version, I hope you can read them online. They're very easy to find. Players can also buy a victory card, and those victory cards have a chance of turning out into victory points, which I'm going to be simulating as well. And that's what I want to focus on. The first part of the diagram is the resources aspect and the building construction. So let's get into it. I have my empty canvas here. I'm gonna name it, short version, just Catan. And first of all, the 5 resources. They are wood, brick, sheep, ore, and wheat. So we're gonna build 5 of those. We're gonna store them in pools. Each of them will contribute to our buildings, so we need every last one of them. Different buildings require different types of resources, so no resource is less important than the other, or so it should be. We shall see. So we have wood, brick, we have sheep, we have ore, we have wheat. I'm gonna choose a color for each resource and gonna stick to that color code for the entirety of the diagram. So anything wood related is gonna have the same color. I'm gonna make it green, maybe darker. Okay, and trying to match them to their real life counterparts. Sheep, yeah, I'm not gonna make it white, I'm gonna make it something like this. Or it's gonna be gray, maybe darker a bit, and wheat's gonna be golden, something like this. Maybe a little lighter. Okay, great. So these 5 resources are used to build all of the buildings you need, which those buildings in return generate more resources, and it's sort of a positive feedback loop. for the player. We're also going to be needing them to be generated, so I'm going to make a source for each of them. The reason why I want to make one source for each and not just one general source is because each of them has to be triggered separately. So in one turn you can only gain wood maybe, or gain one wood, one sheep, but not one brick as well. And if I were to construct a single source, it would push resources to each of those pools, and we don't want that. So we're going to be needing individual sources for each one of them. So I'm building the final one with. I'm not going to name them, it's a bit redundant. We could color them, and here's the trick when coloring things. So let's say you want this to be the same color as this, you can just select this one first, do it something like this, and they're going to have the color already selected. So you can just go and apply. You don't have to, just make sure the first element you select is the colored one. And then you don't have to manually select the color each time. There we go. Pretty clean. Okay, so we have the resources set up. Those resources will be triggered by random chances. So I've decided to eliminate the dice throw. I'm not going to simulate a dice throw per se. Instead, I'm going to be simulating it as a random chance to get those resources. And the more buildings you have of one type, the higher that chance becomes. So if you have, let's say, 3 settlements and they are built on wood, let's say you have 3 settlements built on wood, it would have a higher chance than 1 settlement built on brick, which is pretty obvious. So that's how I'll be handling the dice part of the game. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's talk about the buildings and let's construct them. So I'm not going to talk about the victory card in this, the development card in this video. I'm going to be talking about the road, the settlement, and the city. So let's make them. Of course, I'm going to store the number in pools again. I'm gonna space them out this time. Gonna make them, the road is gonna be built on the same row as the wood. The settlement on the same row as the sheep, and the city on the same row as the wheat. So this will be roads, or number of roads, but let's just name it roads. This one will be settlements. This one will be cities. And I should give them colors as well. Okay, let's make anything road related, not the green but a lighter one. Let's make anything settlement related red, lighter red. Let's make anything city related lighter gray maybe. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so we have those 3. The way they work is the player starts, so let's actually start with this. The player can have an unlimited number of roads, so we're gonna leave that as it is. I do want to see them as numbers though, so we're gonna put -1 on display on one of them. Settlements actually have a limit of 5. You can only build 5 settlements at most, so we're gonna limit the capacity to 5. And cities, only 4 can be built, so we're gonna limit the capacity as well and display as a number. Another thing, at the beginning of the game, each player can place 2 settlements and 2 roads. The settlements can be placed wherever they want on the map, as long as they aren't near other players. And for each settlement, they have to place a road right next to it. So the player is actually going to start with 2 roads and 2 settlements. So let's put this here. Okay. So some rules for building are, but I'm mentioning them, but I'm not gonna simulate them in this part, but I want you to know them. For a settlement to be built, it needs to be at least 2 roads distance from any other settlement. So in this case, where we have one settlement, one road, the player would have to build another road, and then he can place one more settlement, and then for the next one he would need to build 2 roads from that one. And cities are built over settlements. You can't have a city without having a settlement. The city is basically an upgrade of the settlement. So no cities can be built when there are no settlements around. So with those 2 rules in mind, we're going to be simulating them later. Now I want to show you how we're going to construct them. We're going to construct them using a converter, because every one of these buildings needs multiple resources. For instance, a road needs 1 wood and 1 brick. So we're gonna be able to build it only once we have both 1 wood and 1 brick. As I said that I want all road related stuff to be green, I'm gonna construct this and make them green. This converter is gonna be set to automatic and pull all, because if it would be set to pull any, and let's say we get 1 wood here but we don't get any bricks, it would pull this wood, it would not convert because it didn't receive all the required resources, and that wood would just be wasted, which doesn't make sense, because in reality a player can just waste a resource like that. He would wait for the 2 resources and build the road. Okay, we're gonna name this one build, let's name it by road. Okay, and those 2 resources go there. They are shy. It's okay. So those 2 are required for road. Now let's go for the settlement. For a settlement, more resources are required than for a road. The player needs to have 1 wood, 1 brick, 1 sheep, 1 wheat for a settlement. So this one's going to pull a whole lot of stuff. This is a case where it's very important to have a pull-all type of node, because otherwise it's a very high chance that resources would be wasted. Let's do it. So wood, brick, sheep, wheat. I'm also going to do another quick thing after connecting these, because they will intersect, it's unavoidable. I'm gonna modify their width. Come on, let me select multiple, don't be okay. Okay, gonna select them all and make their thickness 1, so they are okay, easier on the eye. Don't be like that, come on, please. Okay. We're gonna name, color them. Let's not do it like this. Let's do it like I did it earlier, because it's more efficient. So all of these translate to 1 settlement. Again, the converter will need to receive all of the resources to construct this settlement. I'm gonna select this one first and just like that. There we go. And lastly, I want to build a city. So the city is actually going to be a drain, because it's going to take the resources, but it's not going to convert them, as those resources don't necessarily turn into a city from scratch. Those resources actually help a settlement upgrade into a city. The city is a bit more expensive. It requires 3 ore and 2 wheat. It's kind of a late game structure, let's call it like that. I'm gonna name this build city. I'm gonna make it automatic. We're gonna make it pull all, of course. And what this drain will do is actually trigger the settlement pool to push a resource into the city's pool. So we're gonna have to connect those 2. A resource connection with 1. As you can see, this one is set to push any, so it's pushing any resource when activated. So when this drain finds all the resources he needs 3 and 2, he will be pushing one resource out of the settlement pool into the cities pool. So pretty straightforward stuff. Let's give them all the same color as the city. Okay, so now if you were to play this, actually let me play this. Let me make this automatic for the sake of a run, so you see what happens. The roads are always prioritized. The first converter always pulls before the settlement gets resources, and as you can see, the city drags. It can actually, yeah, good thing we ran it actually, because now we can see a big mistake. We can see that the player builds cities even if there are no settlements here, which should obviously not be possible. He shouldn't be able to waste those resources. So we're actually going to have to condition this. So as we send the state into it, we're going to send the state back into, let me, I don't know, drag it something like this. This positioning, it kills me every time I try to drag it like this. I die a little inside. Okay, it's better now. So this one has to be higher than 0 for the player to be able to build a city. Let's also give it a gray color. Now it should do better. Let's see. So the roads are built every time. We are converting it into cities. Now we can drain because we have no settlements, which is nice. So this is how they will be generated. Of course, we can't have this, so we're gonna have to be building some rules, but we'll be doing that in a future video. I think this is gonna be it for today. I think it's a good point to stop. Next time I'm gonna be showing you how I generate those settlements being built and those cities being built into actually gaining more resources or having higher chances of getting resources. We'll get into that because I'm not totally simulating it like in the game. It would take too much space and too much time. Maybe it would be too complicated. You saw how it works. We're gonna expand on this next time. I'm gonna leave some space here because that's where we'll be working. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.